Hello students of Primero de Bachillerato. Today, Wednesday the 22nd, we have to do the following exercises. First of all, well, we don't have the links connected or linked yet, but you will have this in a couple of hours. So first of all, here we have the corrections of the grammar homework for Unit 7. I had planned in principle to have it for Thursday to give you more time, but then since today we are going to be doing some revision exercises, at the end I thought it just didn't make sense. But anyway, if someone didn't have time and you give in this tomorrow, it's fine. I mean, you're going to get the same marks, but just, yeah. I've just moved this to this. Oh, by the way, this is Wednesday the 22nd, for that reason, so you can have like this done before we do the revision exercises. Now I'm recording the video, and I just wanted to mention that the only compulsory thing that you have to do today, the only exercises that you must do are the video exercises. Of course, we're going to be doing some exercises, and this, okay? You can do these two if you wish, but it's not compulsory. Compulsory means obligatory, but we tend to use more often compulsory than obligatory in English. So now let's go with the revision. So first of all, let's do a quick revision of the rules that we've seen so far in order to turn a sentence or anything that have been said into reported speech. We remember that if we have a verb, we move it back in time. We shift the tense one time to the past. We're gonna see later that in some cases it doesn't make sense. There are some verbs, like some modal verbs, that don't have a past version of them, of that verb. So in those cases we just leave it as it is, okay? Or with the past perfect. There's nothing behind the past perfect. So in that case, if we report the past perfect, we report it in the past perfect. We often add that, okay? Although that may be omitted very often also, okay? We change the dative words. Dative words are words that point at something. Dative words means that point whether something is close or far. They point at a person, they point at a thing, okay? We have personal and possessive pronouns, demonstrative, place and time expressions like where, when, yesterday, tomorrow, etc. For yes and no W questions means like what, who, why, even like the ones that doesn't have the W, like who, okay, like how, etc. We turn it into an affirmative structure. And if there are yes no questions, we start with if or whether. This is 18, but let's just have all these with the same size, isn't it? Sorry for the lack of accuracy here. We report, in order to report orders and requests, we put the verb in the infinitive with to form, okay? Sorry. In negative orders or request, we use not to in that order. And for suggestions, we have two options, okay? We can have a reporting verb plus the ing form, or a reporting verb plus that plus subject plus the base form, okay? I suggest doing this, or he suggested doing something, or he suggested that we do something, okay? Those are the two options. And we use always some reporting verbs like said, ask, order, etc. Like, so the first question is, can you think of any more reporting verbs? You can pause the video, think about a few. You have a few seconds, and if I remember well, yeah, here we have some more. We have suggested, replied, answered, mentioned, required, inquired, shouted, stated, and many more. Now, short version. What do we do with these words if we have to report them in reported speech? Here becomes their, mine becomes his or her. Also, you remember that sometimes it can become, you can become, yours can become mine, etc. But mostly we move them to the third person. This, that, move. Okay? Let's say that, well, there's no context here. Let's say that this is a present simple. Then it turns into past simple. Are watching. This is a present continuous that is going to move to past continuous. Were watching. Can run will turn into could run. I'm gonna add one thing here. Like, remember that you have something like must. What would happen with must? Okay, must would become must. Okay, because there's nothing in the past of must. Will visit. What would happen to will visit? Would visit. Okay, have done. Have done is the present perfect. Then we turn it to the past perfect. Have done. Did. Okay, what's in the past of the past simple? We use the past perfect. And what happened if we have to report something in the past perfect? As I have mentioned before, there's nothing behind, so past perfect again. You becomes he, she, or they, because it could be plural. And now let's turn to the orders and requests. Do this. He said or he told that person to do that. Okay, don't do this. Someone told that person not to do that. And I suggest you do this will turn into he suggested doing that, or he suggested that he, she, he or she do that. Okay, because as I say, we tend to turn the I to he or she, but I can say he suggested I do that, and that will be reported speech also. Okay, but I mean, so far in the questions that you will find that they are going to mostly use the he and she. Okay. Now here we have a few more examples. I love series, said my friend. Okay, so this is a statement. The I would become he or she. The love has to turn past, so it's the present simple. It has to become past simple. Okay. His friend said he loved series. Okay. Now, what are you doing this weekend? Again, we have a W question. Okay, it's not answer with yes or no. Ask Joe. So Joe asked, and this is present continuous. Then it has to turn to past continuous, and the this that have to turn to that. Okay. He asked what she was doing that weekend. I mean, imagine if we were using the was yesterday. The was yesterday will become that day. The day before. Today will become that day. Yesterday will become the day before. Tomorrow, the day after. Last week, the week before, etc., etc. Do you know how to solve this equation? Asked the student. So the student asked. Now, this is how do you answer to this question with yes or no. So we remember before that for yes and no questions we have to use if or whether. So the student asked whether or if she knew how to solve that equation. She or he, never mind. If ask her if she knew how to solve that equation. We could write whether she knew how to solve that equation. It will be exactly the same. And finally, I will be back right now. Sorry, this should be in the past. Shouted the delivery man. So the delivery man shouted that this wheel had to turn back one tenth backwards. So would be back, right? And this now has to become then or at that moment. The man shouted that he would be back right then or right, you could say, at that moment. Okay? I hope we are getting the idea of how this works. It's a bit complex at times, but if we know our verb tenses all right, we should be fine. Okay? And finally, I just wanted on Monday you were doing an exercise, and I forgot to clarify this, but then it was on the. I've noticed that it was on the in the exercises that sometimes you can express an order using the to plus infinitive or a modal verb. So, for example, if you have verbs like "you should eat more fruit," advise her, let's say, you could say she advised him to eat more fruit, or she told him he should, or that he should eat more fruit and veg. Okay, because this should doesn't really have a past equivalent. So it would stay the same. Same than in here. His father told him not to break the law ever. It would be more natural to say to not ever break the. But told him not ever break the law. But I've chosen to have it at the end because in the second sentence it looks better like that. So his father told him not to break the law ever. His father told him that he mustn't break the law ever. Okay? And this is the same. Must hasn't got a past version, so it stays the same. And now, before we finish, I have a last exercise. Okay? So I will give you a few seconds, and please try to turn this short dialogue into a reported statement. So you can pause the video. I can give you 2 or 3 minutes, and then we go. So I'm going to the shopping mall to buy new shoes. Sorry, there's a U missing there. Do you want to come? Okay, so I'm going will become John said that he was going to the shopping mall to buy new shoes. Do you want to come? That's a yes or no question. If he wanted to come, Karen replied, okay, why not? She said that he needed new sport gear for basketball practice. So John replied, great. He would pass by hers in half an hour. Good, she said. She was going to get ready. She would see him there. Okay? John asked Karen to go to the mall with him to buy shoes. Karen agreed because she needed a sport gear. He then informed her that he would pass by hers, etc. And I'm gonna leave you this a couple of few seconds so you can correct whatever thing you've written. And now we have the second one. John, I have to organize a car boot share is un mercadillo because it's a market that you open. The boot is el maletero del coche. So you open el maletero del coche and you've got your shop there. So that's called car boot sale. For the end of year trip, but I can do it alone. It's too much work. Don't worry, I can give you your hand. Thanks a lot. It's a kind of thing you won't manage to do it alone. So pause the video again. Turn this into reported speech yourselves, and then I'm going to show you the answers. So John said he had to organize a cardboard sale for the end of the year trip, but the can will become good, couldn't do it alone. It was too much work. Karen replied, I can't remember what reporting verbs I use because this is from a previous year, that him to not worry, she could give him a hand with that. So John said, thanks a lot, or thank her. He said that that was so kind that he wouldn't have managed alone. Okay, so you can correct this. That's all for today. I hope it's been helpful. And now you just have to do the rest of the exercises. Remember that this is not compulsory, okay? So, see you in the next video. Bye.